Okay, so these are my signatures sewn in. I've taken the paper clips off, and one of the things I do with each signature is I go through page by page and just run my finger down the crease both ways. I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So that's from the centre out to both sides, and it just helps the pages lie nice and even and flat. Okay, so I do that on all of them, which I've done. And there you can see where we are. Sorry, just having a think then. So now we need to glue this into our spine. And this is why we call it a hidden binding, because the stitching gets hidden inside the spine. This piece of card is the same size as my spine piece here. What I've done is put a tiny little pencil mark in the centre, so that 1 inch here and here, and I know that this signature is dead in the centre. So I'm going to line up using that, and obviously these card edges will be, or should be, on the edge of my spine here. This is a bit of a fiddle, but if we use PVA, and I'm going to use PVA because I've got card and paper, we should have plenty of wriggle room. This is Eileen's tacky glue, and I like this one. It's nice and sticky, but again, I'm running a bit short. So I just want this on the card. I've gone over a little bit, doesn't really matter. And I'm using plenty, but we will need to allow this plenty of time to dry. Okay. And I had a big globule at the top there, so I am just going to just spread it out a little bit. I'm just using my fingers for this. Okay, so let's see if I can do this on camera without going horribly wrong. Sorry, now I've got glue on my fingers. No cloth. There we are. To turn it sideways to start with, and I'm lining that centre signature up with my little centre marks. And then I want to check that the card edge is there and there, and that's pretty good, straight off. And I just want that down a fraction. So got a little bit of wriggle room. There we go. And I'm just going to start easing that into place. So I'm running my fingers down the edge there, so we should be glued to the edge there. And then I'm going to go between my signatures, press that. And that's really all there is to that bit. So that's got to dry before I go any further. That will move. I'm just double checking at this point before I finally leave it that we're pretty even and straight. So I've got, I may have a touch more here than here, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's going to be fine. And to leave that to dry, I tend to leave my book like this with it closed up, and there are various clips you can use. I got one handy, so I might use this. This one is too tight, but I would use a clip like that, or a band, an elastic band, or even a bit of, let's do it this way, even a bit of chiffon or something like that, just to hold it together at the moment. Just to hold that down so that everything is flat and that gets a chance to dry. So leave that with me for a little while. Ideally, I would leave this overnight just to be 100% sure, but not strictly speaking necessary. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm back. I haven't left it overnight, but I'm fairly sure that we can deal with it as it is. I'm going to stick to using the PVA, and all I need to do now is finish off these little wingy bits, and then we'll deal with the inside covers. I want these to settle into this groove or space that we left. So the way I'm going to do this is, hopefully this will come out not too fast. Let's go in the middle, and then if it comes out fast. So I'm trying to get the glue on the edges of my card as well as down in that groove there. And I'm also trying not to move the centre bits too much. Okay, let's go in there. Ruler's good for this. Sorry if my head's in the way again. Just make sure that's glued in. And we'll carry on and do this bit as well. It's quite hard to do things like this that I would really bend over to see what I was doing. Okay, I'm not stinting on the glue, but I'm trying to be smooth with it as well. Fine, so let's do the other side. Okay, so just doing it all in one go this time. Which probably isn't ideal, to be honest. I usually do the groove first and then the rest of it. And this time I am going to leave it to dry for a good few hours before I come back to it. And at this point I would tend to leave it open, leave it flat. So I'm just going to leave it like that to thoroughly dry. and then we'll be back and we'll see where we are. Right, we're getting towards the end of this now. I've been away for a little while, but I'm going to tag this, so this should look fairly seamless except from what I'm saying. So this is our journal, pretty much done now. It's nice and even, which is what I like. Everything glued down. I've cut some pieces of card for the inside of the back cover. Sorry, the inside of the back cover. That's in the right place, and front cover, which is this one. But before I stick those down, we need to make a decision about the cover. I mean, I could have done this much earlier. I could have done it before I put the book together. But I had all along, I had this idea that I was just going to leave this pretty plain. What I've actually decided to do, because I want to call this book Anne-Marie, I'm going to put one of these little book plates over that name. And that's it. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to leave that there. I mean, if somebody else wanted to put a different title in, obviously you can put a bit of card in there. So what I've done is placed it where I want it and done some pencil marks through the little holes there. So now I'm going to pierce this, hopefully without too much difficulty. I'm doing it in the centre as best I can. Okay. I need a couple of brads. And I quite like to glue my book plates. So I use a little bit of glossy accents for this. Fabri-Tac probably would work, or I think a lot of people use E6000. I've never tried that, so I can't really comment on that. So just a few spots of that here and there, just to, a bit much there. Just to help keep that in place. Obviously I want this as straight as possible. Because of the writing, it's reasonably easy to get this straight. And I'm just going inside here now to open these brads, she says. One. Okay, and then before I completely have sealed it, although the glue does dry fairly quickly, I usually measure that I'm about right, that it's level, so that is pretty much. Okay, and then I go on the inside, I take a steel ruler and I just press down those legs of the brad just to really secure it and flatten them as much as possible. So that's that one. And then we're going to glue the card down. So I think that looks quite nice. We're going to glue the card down on the inside. For this I'm going to use a combination of glues again. I don't want to use a wet glue here, so I'm not going to use the PVA. I don't want to risk warping these covers. I could use double-sided tape in the middle here if I wanted to. Just trying to decide whether to do that or not. I think I might do that. No, changed my mind. I'm going to use glue because it's a little bit rough. So let's see. So I'm going to put the glue onto the card, and I'm going to use a combination of 3-in-1 glue, or Fabri-Tac would work, an acetate based glue, say a combination. I think I'm going to use that all over. So let's see if we can get this to come out as speedily as we want it. I have inked the edges of this card, so I've just gone round with a little bit of distress ink. To use any colour really, brown or black. The main thing I want here is the edges glued down really firmly. So I'm taking my glue right around the edge first. And then this bit here is going to be on the fabrics down the spine, so I want lots of glue there. Over the rest of it. And then I'm starting from this edge, this front edge of the book, just leaving an equal amount all the way around and just press that down. And I'm going to use my bone folder, not too hard, but I just want to make sure that glue gets to the edge. I don't really want it squeezing out too much. So it's just making sure that it's down. Okay, and we don't want it anywhere over that. So that's that done. We'll probably put a pocket or something on there. So that's the front inside cover. I'm not going to put anything on the back. The back's just staying plain. So again, this glue is a little bit gloopy. So around the edges. Sure there's plenty where I'm going to put it on the fabric. Probably don't need quite so much on the rest of it. That's my thumb to keep squeezing it one way, so let's do this. Just like before, the main thing we want to ensure, apart from not letting the glue seep out, is that this edge doesn't go into this gully here. Bit of a ridge along where the fabric is. I don't mind that. If you mind that, you can use an infill, I guess, of some description. I've done that before. There we are. This is our book pretty much done. There's room to add stuff. It's going to sit quite nicely. I told you that I'd chosen some fabrics, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose some bits and bobs to decorate it with. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to do on camera, but I will come back and do a flip through. That's really pretty, isn't it? Do a flip through of what I've chosen to add into this. I'm thinking of adding some dangles, probably one in each signature. That might be on the lace, or it might be on for example, the fabric pocket that we've got here. And although I might not go through demonstrating that particularly on camera, I will try and explain how I've done each thing. I've got a bit of glue on there, which is a shame, but not the end of the world. Okay, so that's part 5 completed, and I will be back with a bit more for part 6. Thank you.